ancient city of Kashgar lies on the edge of Western China and has provided relief to travelers of the Silk Road for over 2,000 years. Now, the Chinese government is bringing in the bulldozers. They say Kashgar's buildings are vulnerable to earthquakes and so are demolishing the old city and relocating its residents. But some observers question if the demolition is being done for the safety of Kashgar's people or to secure the region against potential separatist movements and terrorism. I'm Fawzia Ibrahim. In this edition of 101 East, we ask, what is the future of the city of Kashgar? Kashgar is the cultural capital of the Uighurs, a Muslim-majority community. But now, with up to 85% of the city being razed, it appears an ancient way of life could change forever. Stephen McDonald reports.
The Taklamakan Desert in western China is 337,000 square kilometres of arid, dramatic wasteland. It's the hottest place in China, which for many an emperor was a natural barrier to potential invaders. Yet for hundreds of years, camel trains would brave this desolate expanse. Because traders carried Chinese silk to sell to the Western world, this became known as the Silk Road. The camel trains took this dangerous journey, knowing that if they could make it across the Taklamakan, there was relief on the other side. They would arrive in Kashgar. The old city looks pretty similar today to how it would have been centuries ago. Tens of thousands of people still live in this romantic, crumbling rabbit warren. At street level, you can really feel the history oozing out of these walls. Imagine what it was like for travellers in the past. After spending weeks in the desert heat, they would arrive here and meander around these cool alleyways, tasting again the fruits of civilization. Kashgar is the cultural capital for the Uighurs. Though they look and sound like Turks, these people are officially Chinese. And 10 million of them live here in China's far western Xinjiang province. Apart from their language, music and clothes, the Uighurs are known for their mercantile spirit, and it's there in abundance at Kashgar's Sunday livestock market. The Uighurs are Sunni Muslims. Throughout history, their homeland has been in and out of Beijing's control. It became part of communist China when the People's Liberation Army entered the region in 1949. For the many Uighurs who've never accepted being Chinese, their relationship with the government is at best tense. Everywhere you go in this labyrinth of a place, there are working examples of a very different way of life. Tradition permeates everything and even dictates people's jobs. 50-year-old Tursun Zunun was born in this 400-year-old house. He's a sixth-generation pot thrower.
We live as we did in the old times. We don't use electric lights. I use my feet to turn the wheel to make pots. If I was to stop doing this, the souls of my father and grandfather would also stop.
As the oldest of 12 children, Tusen Zunun inherited this trade from his forefathers. He has 3 daughters and also a son who he hopes will take over after him. Yet he worries that his culture is under threat.
In the past, we had no hair. We had to shave our heads. We wore this dopas. But everything is changing, am I right? We didn't wear this type of clothing, but now we do. The old things are going. We've put away the dopa and wear nothing on our heads. We are Uyghurs in name only. So much of our culture has already changed.
Kashgar's blacksmiths have occupied the same corner of this city for many hundreds of years. As with other crafts, their skills have been passed down from generation to generation. But here, like elsewhere, change is only days away, and the fear of what's coming is palpable.
I spent my whole childhood in this place, and if they destroy it, we can't continue our business.
The government has declared that most of the old city will have to be knocked down. It's already levelled parts of the town as big as football fields. Other areas have been cleared the size of large city office blocks.
The reality is that dangerous buildings are everywhere in the old town of Kashgar.
Deputy Mayor Xu Jianrong is responsible for the old town's reconstruction. He says he's worried that an earthquake like that in Sichuan last year could one day strike Kashgar.
If there was an earthquake in Kashgar like the one at Sichuan, you can't imagine the consequences. The streets are very narrow. We couldn't conduct an evacuation or rescue. The basic infrastructure in the old town is backward, and the living and working conditions for the people are also comparatively backward.
The arguments for and against demolition are complex. Some Uyghurs suspect that this is all about control. But most people are afraid to speak openly about government decisions. That is, unless you're 90 years old and believe the authorities can't hurt you.
There's not one official who speaks the truth in Kashgar. All of them have lied or sent people to jail. They beat people. They wrong people. They receive money from the rich, and that's who they promote.
Most days, military helicopters can be seen flying low over the old city. They're either keeping an eye on the place or it's their standard flight path. Their presence is definitely felt. This is an area of great strategic value for China. It's the home of high-security satellite tracking stations and other top-secret military facilities. Xinjiang was where China's first nuclear tests were carried out. Beijing is not about to let this region go. Some believe that the real reasons for what's happening in Kashgar can be found outside the city.
After the break, we look at how the region of Xinjiang has strategic value to Beijing. Stay with 101 East.